Hey there. I'm Carly Wilson, and I'm here with my best friend, Lyndie Davis, and we're here to just talk a little bit about regenerative peptides, specifically GLP-1s, share a little bit about our background and our own weight loss journeys, and hopefully maybe give you a little bit of information that you didn't already know about peptides and maybe a little hope for starting on your own journey. So, like I said, I'm Carly. I'm 47 and I have two teenagers. Only one of them still lives at home with me. The other's off in college. I'm married for what, 22 years? Does that sound right? 22 years now. And I've been part of the health and wellness industry for about 11 years at this point. So, health, wellness, supplements, dieting, working out, none of that is new to me. But what is new is using regenerative peptides to help me reach my goal. And back in February, that's when I got to this point where I felt like the things I had been doing, all those things I just mentioned, just weren't cutting it anymore for me. And I was starting to feel really frustrated. I was feeling just my self-confidence had tanked, and I felt kind of hopeless. But I had another friend posting on social media how she was kind of in the same boat in perimenopause, menopause, had this very sudden weight gain around the middle, and how she had recently come across the concept of microdosing a GLP-1 and that it was just working fantastic for her. And I could see in her before and afters how incredible it was. And that really got my attention. Started looking into it. I will admit I'm not much of a researcher, but she was someone I definitely trusted and held her opinion very high. So if it was good for her, it was probably good for me too. But what I did learn is just a little bit about what peptides are. Okay, so just a tiny little science lesson here for you. We all know what protein is, right? So amino acids are the shorter chains of proteins that are, yeah, shorter chains that make up proteins. Well, peptides are even the smaller little chains that make up the amino acids, and they're naturally occurring in our body. And so when you introduce peptides, like through an injection or whether it's capsule form, or there's many different ways that it can be introduced into your body sees it as being very familiar. And I love the analogy that I hear a lot of people using is like peptides are like, if you think of your body as this huge group chat, okay? And like all of your organs are members of this group chat, all of your systems are members. And when you take things like supplements or even like any type of medication, it's like sending out one message to the entire group chat, okay? And they're all kind of scrambling like, is this for me? Is this for me? What do I do with this? It gets kind of confusing. There's miscommunication. Well, peptides work a little bit different. It's like sending a text message to one recipient with a very specific message. Okay. So, for example, when we are talking about GLP-1s, it's like sending a text message to your pancreas to be like, okay, we're going to get control of the blood sugar, right? Or sending a message to your brain, you're feeling full, sending a message to your digestive system, slow things down. That is what GLPs do in our bodies to help us lose weight. So, with all that being said, I want to transition to introducing my friend Lyndie. Back in February, it was probably March by this point, she kind of accidentally discovered the fact that I was taking a GLP-1. She approached me like, are you serious with this right now? Is this what we're having to do, to get our weight under control? And after some really, I would say heart to heart conversations, I got her on board with me. She's definitely not going to let me do this alone. And here we are, what, six months later. So, and both of us having insane results. But without me oversharing about myself, let's bring Lyndie on. And Lyndie, kind of pick up where I left off. Tell me where you were back in February, March, what had been going on in your life, and kind of what had you saying yes to this.
Well, I mean, we've been vitamin junkies for 11 years and took all the supplements and knew that nutrition was important. And so, of course, the new year came. My husband and I both took our before pictures. We were ready for this great transformation. We were going to take a very natural approach. And, we hit that same wall that we've hit every single time in this season of life when we gotten serious about our health. And while I lost a few pounds, there I got to that happy spot where my body, it just doesn't move past that anymore. Like really, since I had kids, we were not moving past that point. And so then I see Carly um, talking about GLPs on TikTok, and I was like, what are you doing? And she kind of shared the science with me a little bit, and it was totally not what is out in the media, what they're trying to make you believe, because obviously, they don't really want you to be healthy because you don't make them any money if you're healthy. So, there are a lot of things out there that are not true. And so when she kind of guided me with education, so that I could learn for myself. And so on my birthday, April 10th, that was my first injection day. And, right off the bat, I noticed that food noise was gone. Like literally, I haven't had sugar like candy probably since then because it turned off. I have not bought one like Reese's or anything. Okay. Like I just don't want it. And the thing is, I had a very serious sweet tooth. And so if I was going to the gas station, I was going to have some chocolate. And now I realize how important blood sugar regulation is because I'm not doing that up and down thing with how I'm feeling about sugar. And I love that control. So anyway, all that being said, that's one major thing for me because that's been like a lifelong thing. And but slowly the weight started coming off and consistently since April, it's been, 1 to 2 pounds a week, every week. And so like since my heaviest weight, which I'll just say was in the fall, winter, I'm down to 50 pounds, but most of that came since April. It's like 36 pounds since April. And I feel so good. I like, I can't believe it. I'm in shock. But the reason I started it was because we do everything together and she wasn't going to get skinny without me.
Heck no. And I wouldn't want to. So that kind of brings up an important question because you talked about how you'd actually really buckled down and started trying to lose weight back in the fall and the turn of the new year. What
Yeah.
was, compare how that was like doing it before having the GLP-1 on board as a tool versus once you started using the GLP-1?
Well, you know how bad it stinks to go to the gym and work out and
Yes.
not see any results? Like you just
Oh,
know that,
oh, not just to go, but to like go and not have results. Got it. Okay.
like you just keep going to the gym and you keep showing up, but really you can't see anything changing
Yes.
because you're inflamed and you're carrying around all those extra pounds. So it's frustrating. That's what like it results keep you going.
Hmm.
And when you're not seeing the needle move at all, and it's frustrating, and then you stop. I mean, most people do stop those New Year's resolutions pretty early. We did make it till April or maybe March, and
Yeah.
then I gave in. But now, like, I actually can see my muscles coming back in because the layer of fat is gone. Like you wouldn't have caught me like dead in a sleeveless shirt this time last year or even 6 months ago, right? But now I'm like, I can see like my shoulder muscles again.
Girl, look at your
I
gun.
know. I mean,
That
like even
definition.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Triceps. Okay.
I have them. Look, see that? It's a
I
crease.
I do. I actually do. Well, I
So, but that makes a difference. That makes you want to continue to go work out because now I'm seeing all of these changes, not just with the fat being gone, but like that saddlebag on my hip, listen, gone. I mean, like I can look at myself and be like, wow, there she is.
I'm so proud of you and I'm so excited for you. You know, um, people have sharing my story. One of the things is like this is just makes things so much easier. Okay. And like, people taking a GLP-1, sometimes people say, well, you're just taking the easy way out. But I'm like, okay,
Ding.
but why do you have to suffer?
Why?
Why do you have to struggle when
Why
we
does it?
have these tools at
It
our
doesn't have to be this
fingertips?
hard.
It does not.
Yeah, somebody messaged me yesterday and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I told them and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm doing 16-hour intermittent fasting." And I was like, "I'm really sorry. I have done that too." I took pity on him. I was like, I mean, everybody's got to find what works for them, but I don't want to do all that mess anymore.
I
I
know, I'm
don't.
too old.
I
I'm
don't.
too old.
And that guy's older than us. And I was like, good for you. I'm so glad it's working. I don't want to suffer.
Right.
So,
It's just unnecessary. Yeah, like when I've lost 24 pounds now since
woo-hoo.
February. And although I lost probably 5 or 6 pounds very quickly, I know looking back now that the majority of that was likely some inflammation,
Yeah.
just a lot of puffiness and water weight that my body was carrying around and just would not release no matter what. But after that, it has just been really slow and steady because of the using the microdosing strategy. And it's just felt really great. And I think because of that too, I've been able to avoid some of the side effects that, people hear about commonly on GLP-1s. I knew about those before I started, and I was like, I can deal with that. you
Yeah.
know,
If it's gonna make me skinny,
I'll be
I'll,
okay with
I'll serve it.
that. So,
Speaking of inflammation, remember my first real victory was non-scale victory because I hadn't worn my wedding ring in years because my fingers were too fat and swollen. And now I can like get my ring on and off with no problem.
I was going to bring that up, your non-scale victories. What other non-scale victories have
Inflammation
you?
is a big deal because I mean, my kids were like, Dad always wears his ring. Good for Dad. Why don't you wear your ring, Mom? I don't, I just forget. No, it's because I was too fat. Okay.
It wouldn't fit on.
But now I feel naked without it. And I like that. I'm glad to be able to wear it again.
Okay,
But
so what were you going to say? Sorry.
I don't know. I was thinking what other non-skill victories I've had.
Mm,
Oh, it wasn't the scale, but size of jeans. I had a size 16 jeans and I am wearing an 8 or a 29 now.
that's
I'm
amazing.
6 foot tall, so people don't think they're like, there's no way you weighed that much. It's because I have a foot on you.
Right, right, right.
It's evenly distributed over the entire body. Okay.
It is deceptive. Hey, height is a blessing,
It's a
and
blessing.
I have as well. I went shopping a couple months ago with some of my girlfriends, and it had been a little while since I'd seen them a year. It had been a year since I'd seen them in person, and get the comments like, "Oh my gosh, you're looking great. Thank you so much." So we go shopping, and I pick up, and I was wearing like a 12, 14, and like really trying to squeeze into a 12. But I picked up these like size 8 jeans. And my friend was like, no, those are too big for you. I'm like, you don't understand. This is like three sizes less than what I was wearing a year ago. It's deceptive. People say you carry your weight well when you're tall, but I'm like, okay, thank you. I don't, I guess.
It's just everywhere. My
Yeah.
arms, it was in my arms and my hips. I mean, my legs look so skinny now. Not skinny, thin, fit. You can see my muscles.
Fit.
But it's
Fit.
funny how distributed your fat is all over your body because
Yes.
I thought it was just here, but now that I see myself and like my actual muscles, I'm like, there was a lot of fat on my arms.
Well, definitely looking at pictures, that's like doing some side by side
You're
pictures.
like,
It's like, okay,
dang.
but I tell you what, one of the main things I was always fearful of because my weight had been kind of yo-yoing for a little while, ever since like the, mid 40s. And I could lose weight, but then I always knew like I better be careful because it's gonna come right
Right.
back on. And for the first time, I really feel confident, like I have the tools to be successful, to keep the weight off. But hey, if the worst happens, I know what to do now. I know it's not hopeless for me, and I will never let myself get back to the point that I had allowed myself to get to before. So
Yeah.
that's another great thing about it. Okay, so I want to transition topics just a hair because when you first reached out to me about GLP-1s, you were not initially on board. Like I said, February, you started in April. So okay, so let's do the math here. Some time passed by. You actually reached out to me because you were first interested in a completely different peptide. You were super skeptical about GLP-1s, but tell us about the peptide that you were interested in and why.
So I had seen some other friends posting about uh, tissue repair and post-surgery repair and things to help with that. And my mom had just had shoulder surgery. My dad has been a farmer his whole life, and his arthritis in his hands is absolutely terrible. I mean, like he gasps in pain when he's gripping things. And so her post intrigued me, and since I knew Carly knew stuff about peptides now, I reached out to her about it because I wanted my parents to try something different. I mean, there's just not, my mom had gone to the doctor to get all this help with the pain that she was having after her shoulder surgery. And it's like muscle relaxers and painkillers are not a solution. And I needed her to get better. And so I we got my parents started on the BPC-157 TB-500, and there's so many benefits to that with just muscle recovery, tissue repair, repair in your joints and all of that tissue that's in there. I'm not a sciencey person, but I do know it works. My mom was off the couch in like 2 weeks, able to like function again. It took a couple of weeks for my dad to really notice the benefit in his hand, but he was like, man, I haven't complained about it. It hasn't been hurting like that. And so, um, that's actually what got me believing that an alternative regenerative path to health was probably better than her sleeping her day away because they're just putting her on muscle relaxers and painkillers. So
Right.
it
And
worked.
the cool thing about that peptide, it has a nickname.
The
And
Wolverine.
the Wolverine stack. So it's actually two peptides that are blended together because they work synergistically to reduce your inflammation, but also to help, like Wolverine, the character from X-Men. He like has the knives that come out of his hands, and then when they go back in, his skin immediately heals. That's what it is doing inside of our body. It's helping our body use its own healing mechanisms prompted by the messages from these peptides to regenerate tissue, heal tissue, get rid of the inflammation that's causing us discomfort. And yeah, so it is actually so cool. And that is one of the more mainstream peptides. Now that I'm in the peptide world, okay, in February, I knew of one peptide, GLP-1. And maybe like collagen. I guess collagen's a peptide too. Um, but there's like a whole alphabet soup of peptides out there, and I'm still learning about new ones every day because they're just becoming more and more mainstream. But they are becoming more accessible. That's why I like the company that I am involved with, LEMD. They are a legitimate telehealth. Okay. These are prescription peptides. Okay. And you would want to get a doctor's eyes on your medical information. You would want to make sure that there are no red flags that mean you can't take this particular peptide because there are some contraindications. Anything you put in your body comes with some level of risk, although they're all overall incredibly safe. But we do work with a network of doctors who are trained to look at these peptides and your medical background and make sure that they're a safe alternative for you. Then they send a prescription to a legit compounding pharmacy that makes them. They're not sending you all the pieces and the parts and trusting you to put it together because, like, you can buy some stuff on the black market, okay? I mean, I there was absolutely no way I was buying anything that I'm putting in a needle and putting into my body that came from China, okay? I wanted to make sure it was what it said it was, what I think it is, and that a professional actually put it together for me and prescribed it because I just guys, can't trust everything you hear and see and read on the internet. Okay. Listen to us all. But all that being said, the company that we're getting these peptides from, they're every single month bringing new peptides into our catalog that are available. And I've only scratched the surface personally. I've tried a couple of different peptides that I am loving, and we'll do some future episodes of this, little thing we got going here and talk about some of those other peptides. But Lyndie, just to kind of bring things to a close, if someone came to you and said, I want to try peptides, but I'm worried. I've been hearing things, from a friend of a friend of a friend or from some like, unnamed source on the internet, what would you tell them?
Um, I I think that I would tell them that I understand because I actually felt the exact same way. And I was very skeptical of it. But if you do your homework and you look at how much the benefits outweigh the possible negative side effects, which are rare and minimal, if you actually when you hear on the TV and they do commercials about things like this, and they're like, blah, 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 at the end, and they tell you all the possible horrible side effects that could possibly happen. Like, those are
Yeah.
like 0.0001% chance that they might actually happen. I'm not sure why they got to put that disclaimer because the odds are you're not going to have terrible side effects. And the ones that you might have are very manageable. And the cost of staying overweight and inflamed and unhealthy is far greater
Mhm.
than the investment in your health to prevent, especially at our age, we're reaching the peak of our life, like I'm
The
just saying
middle.
midlife. I'm not, maybe not the peak's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like we might be near halfway done. And so you want the last half of your life you want to feel your best. Like aging is hard no matter what, but giving your body the opportunity to be at its peak level, healthy, um, it's worth the investment.
Sure. Yes. I mean, the thing is we all have those people in our lives that we care about most, and we see them suffering. They're suffering maybe with their weight, but maybe other things. Like all of my friends are kind of going through this hormonal shift, like I am going through. And, they're just grasping at straws. Like, you know, searching online, finding, this diet, that supplement, this herb or whatever. And it's like, what if I could tell you that I have a solution and it's GLP-1s? You guys, the science is there. There's research that's already available, but more is emerging about this connection between perimenopausal women and GLP-1s being like this magic bullet. And no, it's not going to be for every single person out there. There are going to be people that this just, it's not a possibility, but that is just a fraction of people, okay? And so I would just urge you, if you've come across this video on YouTube or somebody shared it with you, reach out to me, to Lyndie, to whoever sent you here, and just start asking the questions. Okay, let's just see if it could be a good fit for you. We have some tools that we can direct you to help you make that decision. So, with all that being said, Lindy, do you have any closing remarks for us? Maybe something that you're excited about for the future since you've started using peptides in your daily life.
Well, I'm just excited about being in the best shape I've ever been in. Like, my daughter's 17, almost 18, and I can wear jeans that I could wear before I got pregnant with her. I mean, that's pretty. I kept one pair just in case the day ever came, okay? And I can actually get them buttons. So,
Congratulations, that's amazing.
I mean, is it too early to be excited about next year's swimsuit season?
No.
I mean, we're about to hit winter and we're going to be fully clothed all the time. And now I'm not going to be
Well,
able to show
now,
my guns.
now maybe you don't feel so bad about wearing the leggings, like you have to wear a full long sweatshirt to cover up your butt and your leggings anymore. You can break out some of the cute little crop sweatshirts.
Can 45-year-olds wear those?
I mean, I'm going to.
Okay.
Let's do it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Well, Lindy, thank you for doing this with me. I just wanted to get the word out and get our stories out here so we can, start to chip away at some of the secrecy and shame and stigma surrounding GLP-1s and, maybe help to encourage some people to take that step because of just how truly transformative they can be. And that, for me, also back in February, I didn't know that I could take a GLP-1. Okay. I didn't know about microdosing. I didn't know about telehealth. I didn't know any of that stuff. So, we're spreading the word and really just kind of starting this wave of perimenopausal women living the best days of their lives. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Well, that kind of concludes our little, what are we going to call this? We're going to come up with something. Okay. Next time we'll have a name. It'll be
Our
amazing, I'm
hashtag
sure.
pep talk.
Peptide, power peptides, pep talk, lots of P's. All right. Well, bye everyone. We'll see you next time.